Hi, I'm Ren.
I'm Sam.
I'm Tosh. And we're the T-Swift sisters.
Welcome back to the T-Swift Sisters podcast, a Taylor Swift fan podcast for Swifties by Swifties. In today's episode, we're joined by Betsy Sedlak from Swift Alert to discuss her new children's book for Swifties and recapping the Eras Tour Fundon. Here's this week's Swift Scoop. Okay, welcome back. Obviously, we took a week off, and it may or may not have been because we were so embarrassed about everything that we said in the last episode that we just could not show face. But we're back today to tell you that we failed miserably clowning. But so did everybody else because we were not the only ones this time.
No way. The rest of the world.
The rest of the world, but it was the worst. I think it's the worst clowning in history of the clowning.
I honestly agree.
I was full-fledged, ready, I had my cart open already for store.taylorswift.com, gonna buy all the new merch, gonna buy the albums, called my mom, hey, just so you know, I'm gonna be unavailable on Thursday, June 13th, because at midnight, I'm gonna be pre-ordering Taylor Swift debut kind of thing. It was really bad.
I think this was worse than us clowning over rep.
And then it ended up being TTPD. Yeah, because at least we got...
Because nothing happened.
Right.
Yeah.
We had these elaborate... We went as far as to go the movie route and nothing happened. She was supposed to release a song on a movie.
Well, the movie hasn't been released yet.
Wait,
Yeah, but we had our reasoning for why that was going to be announced on.
Yeah. No, this is really bad. I'm embarrassed.
Well, it happened.
It happened. We're here. We're owning up to it. We're saying that it happened. We are not saying that we will never clown again, because if you're a listener to this podcast, then you know who we are. And that's it. This is what you came for.
And we're not sorry.
So before we go into all of the fun stuff about London Fundon and Wembley Stadium, I just want to update you guys really quickly because we've been kind of keeping track of Billboard 100 and we were seeing what was going to happen to TTPD, if it was going to taper off or whatnot. So we are happy to share today that it has spent the first 9 weeks. This was dated June 23rd. So this week is part of it still. First 9 weeks at #1 on the Billboard. So it's been 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, continues on to 9 weeks. And the top 2 albums that TTPD is competing with for #1 top spot is 1989 and Fearless OG versions at 11 weeks. So if TTPD passes that, we will come back on and let you know. And if it doesn't, then this is the end of the Billboard 100. But just wanted to update you guys really quickly with that little fun fact. And let's move on to the craziest thing that has ever happened in Taylor Swift history. Should we start with the end and work our way back? Or, yeah. I can't even. It's a question that we will ask ourselves in the years to come. Where were you when Travis Kelce made his debut on the Eras Tour stage? I was on the Florida Turnpike in my car. So almost crashing, almost a fatality, honestly. Where were you?
I don't remember.
You already don't remember?
I don't remember life.
It's just
being on stage.
Yeah, it's just pre-Travis being on stage, post-Travis being on stage. Nothing else exists in between.
No, it's literally a blur.
I want to thank Swift Alert personally for sending the alert, but literally that alert changed my life. I could not believe it. And by the time I got to the live stream, it was already over. So I was like, what the heck just happened? And then my feed just literally exploded. And now I'll never be the same.
Yeah. I was going to personally thank you for sending it in the group chat to alert me, because that's how I found out. And it honestly is something if you told me this was going to happen, I would have told you it wasn't going to happen.
It would have been a stretch on the podcast.
Absolutely. She was going to release a song for a movie. before she was gonna have Travis Kelce on stage, and you can't tell me, like, come on.
No,
That's
yeah,
not-
like she was gonna double release Taylor Swift debut album and Reputation Taylor's version before I would ever think that Travis Kelce was gonna grace the Era stage.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And like her Instagram post where she's like, I'm still swooning over this happening. I'm like, babe, we're still swooning over the two of you. Like, we love you guys.
Literally. First of all, when did she become so casual on Instagram with the first picture that she drops with
With
William?
the royal family. Yeah,
Yeah.
like with Prince William.
I had
like,
to do a
"Oh."
double take and see who posted that because I was like,
It gets crazier. The lore gets crazier. Did you see the photo that the royal family shared on their Instagram account of Taylor with Prince William and like Charlotte's like super
Yeah.
excited? It's like a better quality photo. Like it's like the photographer was taking the picture of Taylor taking the selfie. Taylor is holding, or I think in the selfie picture, I don't know. Taylor has Travis's phone, okay? She has Travis's phone, and that's the picture that she posted so that Travis could be in the picture.
Oh.
Like she used his pic on her Instagram instead of the nice photo that the photographer of the royal family posted of them so that Travi could be in it.
Because Travi wasn't in the professional pic.
In the professional pic.
I mean, she knew what she was doing.
And she even tagged him.
She's swooning. She said it herself.
Yeah, she's swooning.
Also, her and the Royals look so happy to be with each other. When I saw the picture that they posted, I'm like, this looks like a postcard. They're having the time of their lives. I love this so much.
That's literally going to be a postcard in London, like where you go and you buy postcards from the trip. Like it's going to be Taylor Swift and the royal family.
No, that's going to be their holiday card this year
Yeah.
from Buckingham Palace.
Prince William dancing to Shake It Off. Like, first of all, the way London is obsessed with Shake It Off. Like, I saw so many videos this weekend. We have the video of all the celebs literally like shaking the VIP tent to its core. Like,
Justice for us saying Shake It Off has that effect.
I will die on this hill. Like, this is exactly why I say Shake It Off will always be that girl. Like, she is that song that no matter what, everybody will get up and just like bop to.
100%.
Mhm.
And
I
Prince
also-
William is the perfect example.
I also did a double take when I saw that because I was like, no way at him moving his body like that. But Shake It Off has that effect.
Moving so hardcore, I thought he was gonna fall off like the area that he was in.
I'm falling off. I'm falling off.
But I love it. I love the love that London has given Shake It Off, Taylor. Like you were saying before we recorded, Sammy, that London was the favorite child, but like so much of what I saw from London is how much they deserved to be the favorite child. The murals, the dedication, the outfits, all of it. Like they deserved it. I can't see one thing that would take that away from them.
No, they worked for it. Yeah.
And truly, like we were talking about this in our text chain yesterday, Taylor Swift won London in every divorce and breakup she's ever had because obviously she's dated Harry Styles, Maddie, and Joe, and they're all British. And like, no, she reclaimed her throne.
Yep. Imagine how she like feels now after like those experiences with London, and now like this, like it's almost like rewriting her like narrative with London. Like I feel like it's just probably like really deep, and like that's probably the reason why Travi was on stage and everything, like to just like reclaim it.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, she gave us so long London, and I think that set the tone. And London was like, we need to show her how much we love her and how like this place is for her. This is her place. And with that in mind, if Florida does not bring that same energy, we're going to have problems.
I worry about Miami truly. Like Miami is not as dedicated to Taylor as the entire United Kingdom is.
I think we have to fix that.
I think And I hate to like bring our culture into it, but I just don't think like Hispanics, and I'm not speaking on all Hispanics because the three of us are Hispanic and we are obsessed with Taylor Swift beyond belief. But like the Hispanic culture is not really like up to date on Taylor Swift. Although my grandfather does know Taylor. He did tell me that he knows Taylor. But like I feel like they're not as up to date with Taylor as we are. And like she's coming to Miami and it's literally like every Hispanic culture ever here.
Yeah.
I'm hoping people can prove it wrong. Let's see.
Like I'm trying to be on Calle Ocho and like taking a picture in a Taylor Swift mural. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I just don't see it happening.
They should like repaint the gallo that they have to like be eras.
The Domino's chicken, that one? Are you?
Yeah.
The Domino's
like
chicken will have like one of the Taylor Swift Midnight's dresses now.
Yeah. Wait, can we do this?
And the actual rooster that's on Calle Ocho needs to have like a friendship bracelet around its neck.
Wait, maybe when Betsy's on the pod, we can ask her to illustrate this for us for a mural in Calle Ocho.
She needs to design it.
But yeah, I'm worried. I'm truly worried that Florida is not going to bring the energy that London did. I mean, it's just, I hope so.
I mean,
I think what's going to help us is that there's a lot of people from out of town coming to town.
Yes, that's what I was trying to find the words to say, because with London, as I heard from my friend who went to this past show, shout out to Marianela, she told me that it was a ton of travelers for this, people coming from all over. I'm sure with Miami, it'll be the same. We'll see people from Destin, Florida, perhaps.
We need those people to wear like a sign, like I'm from Destin, or like on their shirt, like I have a timeshare down in Destin.
That'd be so cute.
Okay, but it was just absolutely insane the way, Samantha, you shared that picture and we'll add it in here now. They had it all like decked out for Taylor, like all of the things renamed and like color coded and like.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, you posted like the map thing.
Yeah, she sent us the map thing.
Those are the pictures provided by my friend, and that was her showing how much how much they went all out for Taylor and really made it just visual. So they had the murals around the stadium, they had the tube decorated like that, and so cute. I mean, come on, you can't beat it.
I love it, which is why honestly they deserved a lot of what they got. But also, they were graced with so many celebrities. Hugh Grant, not in his Willy Wonka outfit as an Oompa Loompa, the king of the Oompa Loompas, attended the Eras tour.
And he was very active on social media to sing his praises for Taylor. So
yeah,
I love how much of a stan he is.
Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney.
Sir.
John Bon Jovi.
Love.
Kate Blanchett.
Woo!
Ellie Goulding. Greta Gerwig, Miss Queen of Barbie Land, Greta Gerwig herself. Sophie Turner, love her. Gracie Abrams, who also joined Taylor on stage to sing their new song, Us, from Gracie's new album that released last week. Tom Cruise, who was breaking it down and trading bracelets too. Liam Hemsworth.
Australian King.
Mila Kunis.
Amazing.
Ashton Kutcher. Obviously, Trav, Jason Kelce, and Kylie Kelce. Jason Kelce was truly everything that we expected him to be at the Eras tour. The fact that he came back the second night in his Taylor merch, the first night with the Eras, the bracelets hanging from his ears. I love him. Like, honestly, really high up there with Trav getting on stage is Jason Kelce's appearance at the Eras tour.
I was so excited to see Lady Whistledown from Bridgerton. Amazing.
She was so excited to be there too in like her little TTPD era outfit. I loved it.
She looked amazing. And she was with JVN from Queer Eye. Love them. And their husband.
Their nails were so iconic. Did you see them? Like I didn't know that they were going to the Eras tour until like the TikTok videos started popping up and they're like showing each individual nail. And then they have one as Jonathan Van Ness dressed up as Sadie Sink in the All Too Well 10-minute music video.
Wait, that's on a nail?
Yes.
On a fingernail. It's just like a side profile. I'll send you the TikTok. But
Please
then
do.
it gets better because there's a part 2 to this TikTok and it like flashes forward, or like the second part is Jonathan Van Ness at the Eras tour making their nail dance and pretend like it's singing the song of All Too Well.
I haven't seen that one. Oh my God.
That's definitely something we would do. Absolutely.
Oh, 100%. Yes, I don't put that past us. But
and they were with Salma Hayek. She was there too.
I didn't know she was there too. I did read that. I'm lying. I did read that. Yes.
I love
it. Andrea and Scott joined the tour for like the first time in a while. They hadn't been seen in a long time. There was a video of Andrea that was posted this weekend of her walking through the crowd and like everybody going crazy. And she literally just like stops, looks around and starts crying.
Oh my God.
Protect her. Like, God save our queen.
Love her.
And then lastly, Hayley Williams. She joined Taylor on stage to sing Castles Crumbling. And I feel like that's something that we had kind of been waiting for like almost a year. So that was really nice to see. You know, I know you guys love Castles Crumbling. Tasha, you're like a Castles Crumbling.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Also the Thank You, Amy Mean mashup.
Yes. That was crazy. That's crazy. Insane. I would have also thought that Taylor would drop like Reputation and debut Taylor's version before ever singing Thank You, Amy. And then the fact that she mashed it up with Mean, kill me.
Yep. Kill me.
The Black Dog.
Goodbye.
Kill me.
Kill me.
It was amazing. It was so good. Honestly, like just surprise songs were out of this world this weekend. The final surprise song on piano of Out of the Woods, Is It Over Now, and Clean all mashed up together. Like, you can't tell me that is not an iconic trio.
They deserved it.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing.
Okay. I think that pretty much wraps up our London Fundon recap. I'm super excited. Taylor obviously continues on the tour for the rest of the summer, and then she actually returns to London in August to close out the Europe shows. So I'm really excited to see what she has next, like kind of in store for that. I'm definitely like on the train that the final mashup of London songs is going to be London Boy times So Long London, like that mashup. Really looking forward to that, honestly. Like if I'm looking forward to anything in the Eras tour, I'm hoping that it's like that. But do you guys think that this is going to be Travis's only time he's going to be on stage? Like, what are we thinking about that?
Good question.
I think it's like a little bit fetch and stretch because he does have to return to training camp. And like training camp starts like maybe July. Oh no. So we have this week, I think she's going to Dublin. And then she might be on a little break for a little while. So I wonder if, I'm sure she's going to she does 4th of July, which is next week already. So she typically does a break for that. Probably spend that with Travi, and then he'll probably go to training camp after that. So maybe it might have been like his send off or something. Still amazing nonetheless. We only need that one time to live off for the rest of our lives anyway. So.
Exactly.
Love it. And it's on Taylor's main now. So I mean, there's no going back. Like
it's permanent.
But I think with that, we can kind of transition over to our interview with Betsy. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you when Betsy joins us. All right, we are now joined by Betsy to talk about her new children's book, which is called The Lucky One, and also to talk a little bit more about the Swift Alert app. So welcome, Betsy. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Super excited to be here with the three of you.
Yeah, of course. So typically when we have a guest on the pod, we just kind of start off with a little bit of an introduction. So if you can tell us your favorite Taylor Swift era, and we'd like to disclose that it could mean Taylor's personal life era and music separately, or it could be the same. So like,
yeah, so I think overall things combined, my favorite era is Reputation. Absolutely loved it. Still do to this day. And I've been a Swiftie since the beginning, since debut, probably a little bit after Taylor kind of first came on the radio, I think my first memory from it was hearing Picture to Burn in the car for the first time and just blasting it and turning it up. And I've been a fan ever since. So it's been a really fun journey.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's like kind of where we started too. And I think Picture to Burn and our song is like almost equivalent in that. Like you almost don't know which one came first. It was just like heard it once and you're like, oh, I'm in.
Totally. That's the way it went. Yeah. So very fond memories for the last 18 years.
Nice.
We're glad to have a fellow Reputation stan with us.
I love
True.
it. Yes.
We always love a rep
lot
early.
we could talk about with that, I'm sure.
Yeah. I saw in your book on the intro page, or was it the end, where it had like your Swiftie stats, and you said your favorite songs are Getaway Car and Hits Different. That hits really close to home on this pod.
It does it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like can't decide, and I feel like people are like, you got to pick one. I'm like, I can't. It's too hard. They're amazing. And so I got lucky. I got to go to the Reputation tour. So I saw Getaway Car live and have obviously seen on the live streams a few times. But when she sang Hits Different last weekend, I started crying. I was like, I need it. Like, I wish I could be there live, but it's good to get to see it over the live streams. We're all very lucky to get to experience it still.
Yeah, 100%. Getaway Car was one of those that we were definitely like, why the heck is it not on the set list? Like, should have been an Eras tour song.
I know. It's so iconic. Yeah. We're fortunate it keeps cropping up in the surprise song section. So hopefully we keep getting it.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
Okay, so if you want to just tell us a little bit about your journey with Swift Alert.
Yeah, so super fortunate to know Kyle, who started the app, and I know you've talked to on the podcast, which was an awesome episode to just get to hear a little bit more behind the app and the workings of it. So since I knew Kyle, he was just kind of familiar with my creative background, and there's been a couple of opportunities just to get some artwork involved in the app and kind of in the space around the app. So I think the three of you are mastermind players. And so the little icons that you see in there are my drawings. So you see those kind of throughout the app and the game, and then throughout the outfit tracker. And then I've kind of done some other artworks and graphics that you see flying around mostly is how I've been involved. But such an awesome team to get to contribute a little bit of work to. And I know, you've met Kyle, but just really great people. And it's been super cool to kind of see the app accelerating, especially within the last couple of months here. But I think the community around it and just the tour in general with anyone who's putting in work to kind of expand the ecosystem of the Eras tour is pretty amazing. And it's been really cool to get to connect with some of those folks throughout this time.
I love how like we can all have like different backgrounds and things we love and then make it like Swiftie. Like you're like really creative, you have that background, and then you found a space within the Swiftie community to do that. And I just love that. And when Renee was showing me like the book, she was like showing it, and I was like, wait, those illustrations are like iconic. She was like, I know Betsy made them. I was like, oh my gosh. Like that's like what stood out immediately as she was just like turning the pages. So go you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I don't know. To me, they're fun drawings that I've gotten to do and spend some time on, which is really neat. But it is like so weird when I see them like flying around on Twitter all weekend with people sharing their scores. And it's pretty cool to just see them kind of floating out there in the universe, which is really fun.
Yeah. And I definitely have to say your illustrations make the mastermind playing so much more fun and so much more easy to understand, because if not, I'd just literally be selecting whatever and not knowing. Like the fact that I can actually have a drawing to what I'm selecting, I'm like, okay, this is actually the one I wanted. Correct. Like if not, I would never know what the iridescent dress is. No idea.
I hope anyone knows that it's a mystery every time it comes out still. So it's very changes colors and all of that, but I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear it. It helps make it a little bit easier.
Tell us how Taylor's music and her career has kind of influenced your creative process, and kind of both in Swift Alert, in the book, starting all of that, kind of blending those worlds together, if you will.
Yeah. So, I think pretty much like anytime I'm drawing, painting, like I'm always listening to Taylor nonstop. So there's like always some influence there, no matter what I'm working on, probably just from her music and her lyrics and the beat or whatever's going on. But I think the first like real memories I have of it, I really re-picked up my artwork kind of during the pandemic, like a lot of people picked up hobbies and like needed to dive into something. And that was really when I started again. And I think one of the first memories I have was when she came on stage at the Grammys and the Folklore Cabin was there for the first time. And I remember redrawing that and creating it. And then as she started to roll out more albums, like anytime she had a new album drop, I would listen to the songs and create a drawing based on the song and just start to feed in that way. But never really anything like with Taylor herself or like outfits or like the Swiftie space. It was always just very like Taylor inspired. So really working on the outfits was kind of the first time that I got the opportunity to do that. And I think I really challenged myself with that. Like I was not used to drawing people or like clothing in any way. And I just kind of sat down and was like, okay, I think I can do this. I love Taylor. I've been watching the tour the whole time. And it really like opened up a creative space that I didn't know that I had and kind of just propelled me to keep creating. So before I started working on my book or the items in the app, like did not attempt to draw human beings. It's like a difficult skill that I still think I have a lot of room to grow in, but really just getting to open that up for the first time with creating those little icons just helped me keep going. And now here we are with the little book. So it's been a super fun journey.
How did you get into like painting? Like what medium would you use?
Yeah.
Kind of that background.
Great question. I think I got like, I always loved like just little art projects as a kid. Like anytime there was something in school that involved like, you need to create a project for this. Like mine was always very like artsy. And I remember being like very into card making and like paper crafts. Like I would put all that together, but it wasn't till college. My first real medium that I consider were canvas shoes. Like Toms were a big thing. And I got very into painting custom pairs of Toms. And I started up a little art business of doing that and painting shoes. It was called Kicked Canvas. And that was my first thing. So I went from shoes and then back into like the normal medium, I guess, just on a regular canvas. And then, yeah, it was during COVID that I got an iPad and started exploring with digital art, which like really kind of propelled my artwork. Like it's opened up a lot of doors and like things that I didn't know I could do, frankly. And like I've really loved getting to work on my iPad. I try and kind of mix in a mix of painted work and like iPad work when I can. But yeah, I think, the pandemic had a lot of things with it that were obviously like very sad and hard for a lot of people. And then some folks that like were able to pick up hobbies that they hadn't done in a while. And like, for me, that was the case with artwork that I've luckily been able to like carry into, the rest of my life that I hope to keep doing.
That's awesome. From shoes to here, look at you go.
Hey, I know. Yeah, I think I still have a couple pairs of them back there, but I don't wear them too often anymore, but they're still there.
Your book, The Lucky One, was released on May 2nd. Tell us what inspired the project when you knew that this was something that you kind of wanted to roll full speed ahead with.
Yeah, I think it was like a combination of things for me. Like, so like a lot of people, like I just felt this gap and like gaping hole after going to the Eras tour, right? Like you go into like the post tour, is it over? And like I still really wanted to be connected with the tour and just like didn't feel like my time with it was complete. And obviously it's been great to get to contribute to some pieces of the app, but started to think like how else can I just like creatively stay involved. But I also kind of took some time to reflect on like, well, what is this draw for us and like why does it mean so much? I mean, obviously we're like huge fans of Taylor and it's an iconic once in a lifetime tour, but like people feel so connected to it, right? And so I kind of started exploring that feeling of like the why behind it. And that's kind of where the idea of the story came about, is that it just encapsulates kind of a lot of what I feel like the power of being a Swiftie is, right? And like why we feel so connected to Taylor and other Swifties. And once I kind of started running with that idea of what that is, like everything kind of flowed from there. I think I wrote the story in like one night and then edited it a little bit from there. But then, it was a couple months of getting the illustrations all done. That's what takes the most time. But yeah, it was really fun to just like kind of sit with that idea a little bit and reflect on like, what does it mean to me? And feel like a lot of other folks might feel that same way.
I love how you like we're like trying to find the deeper meaning behind how and why we feel so connected, because like someone who isn't a Swiftie, they look up to an artist equally as much as like we look up to Taylor or we love Taylor. So it can't be like because we're just capable of loving someone more. Like, it's because of something that she's giving us, like this magic that she gives us. And I think your book and like Ivy's little story like really encapsulates it really well.
Thank you so much. I think that was part of it too. Like, I mean, my biggest reason for putting this out there was like, I hope that like young Swifties like feel a connection to the book, right? Like, I really, really hope that that came across, and I've gotten some of that feedback. But I also think like children's books have a really unique way too of like helping people understand a concept that they might not understand otherwise, right? Because it puts it so simplistically. And I think that comes up a lot with Taylor and this tour of just like, why are people so drawn to it, and asking it in a respectful way of like, hey, I don't connect to it, but like, why do you? And the hope was that maybe this book could explain that a little bit of like why people feel such a connection to her and to being a Swiftie.
Even the fact that it's a book for children. I mean, we've seen through this tour that people of all ages have been connected to Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour, and it's brought families closer together. So I think this is the perfect symbolic way of reinforcing that connection. Families can read the book together, parents can read it to their kids, they can bond over it, maybe remember their time at the Eras Tour. And I think especially with this tour, we've had moments where we've traded bracelets with super young children. I traded a bracelet with a toddler, I think. Like, she was so tiny. And we hadn't seen that before, but it's just showing how the trend is changing. There's a bigger audience and more people to include here. So I think this is the perfect thing to do so.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really amazing. Like, I love seeing the photos from every weekend and just all the different sorts of people that are there and like sharing memories together. It's really special, and they're gonna remember it the rest of their lives, which is so cool.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing for this story too is that so many, whether it's children's books or like, it's almost always about Taylor's life and never about like what it actually means for us. And I think that's why I was really drawn to it, because I was able to remove almost Taylor Swift from the picture and think about my experience with Taylor, my experience with Tosh and Sam growing up. You know, we go over, Ivy talks about how like learning the songs made her remember things or help her cope through things that she didn't even know that she needed help with. And it's like, that's so much of what being a Swiftie always was for us. And we kind of didn't even know that like we were really in this community. I feel like until we started this podcast and like our Stan Twitter is when we like really, but we're still Swifties. And like this story tells us like we have been the whole time kind of thing.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think that I really did want that to be the focus, right? The experience of being a Swiftie. Like, it's, like you said, it's not a Taylor biography or something like that. And it is focused on just how her music has helped like create friendships and like help people through hardships and like help them realize too. I mean, people say this all the time, like whatever they're going through, like her music can just help be a reminder to them that like someone's probably gone through it, right? And like she's been so generous at sharing her life experience with us to allow us to feel that connection. And that then helps like spread us feeling that connection to others, right? It's not just to Taylor, but then we realize like, oh, like there's other people going through this, and like it's bonded us together through that, which is so unique. And yeah, I kind of hope to bring that through. So I really appreciate that.
What would you say that the biggest advice that Ivy might offer young kids who are reading this book for the first time is?
I think it would just be like, be willing to like open yourself up to connection. Like and just feel comfort that like when you feel like no one understands, like someone out there probably can connect with what you're going through, when like everyone's had that feeling where they feel like no one can connect, or like no one understands me, or it's hard for me to make friends, right? And no matter what it is, like whether you're a Swiftie or you're like passionate about something else, there's probably other people out there that have those passions too, right? So I think if you don't find them right away, keep trying, because those are the best friendships that you're gonna make, is when you feel those deep connections with others as well. So I think that would be what she would say.
We feel a personal connection to Taylor Swift and to Ivy, obviously.
I'm so glad. She would be happy.
Also, this is like related but not. Like, what? So you wrote the book in like a sitting and then edited it. What like made you name her Ivy?
I really wanted a name that was like associated with the fandom, right? So
Okay.
like I think there's a lot of little things in the book, and like I just think it's a very beautiful name, and you know, I think throughout the book, like she grows throughout the book, right? And like just as like Ivy grows, like Ivy's growing throughout the book. So
Love
I think
it.
I felt really connected to that name, but I sprinkled all sorts of little like Taylor Swift things throughout the book that Swifties can connect with. So again, it's one of those things where hopefully anyone can read the book and like be like, oh, I understand like why people like Taylor Swift. But I think for real Swifties, they can look at a lot of little things in the book and see some connections to her lyrics or the fandom or something like that.
You left
Little
us
Easter eggs. Yeah.
There's a lot of little tiny ones in there too. So I would love to hear what you all find. It was really fun.
What drew you to like publishing a children's book? Like, what was it that made you say, hey, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, so I had a different one that I was working on and completed. I just haven't published it yet, and I think it'll come hopefully later this year. That's the goal. So I had some like random epiphany about a story one day, and I was like, can I actually like turn this into something? So that was the one that I had done originally. I worked on it last year. It's a story about my mom and her stories. And once I kind of got off and running with that and like realizing like, hey, I can do this, it just kind of like opened up my mind to think of what else can I do this with? And so when I got the idea for the Lucky one, I was like, all right, we're going to do it, and we're going to try and create another book. And here we go.
Was that first book that you wrote a children's book? As well? Okay.
Yeah, it's also a children's book. Yeah. So I actually like I finished it last year and ended up giving it to my mom for Christmas and her birthday. So she saw it. I kind of wanted her stamp of approval before I went through and just like put her story out there in the world. I was like, are you okay with this? And she was. So I plan to go through that process later this year as we get a little bit closer to the holidays.
Do you have any plans to bring Ivy back to send her on any other adventures? Can we look forward to that?
I would love to revisit Ivy's story and just kind of her universe at some point. Like I do love her little character so much and think there's so many fun things that her and her friends can kind of do together as they have like the power of being Swifties together. But also for me, like it's just so fun to create. Like I just loved the entire process of creating the book. And like I mentioned, just thinking through the little Easter eggs to put in there, and Swifties too are just the best. Like being able to connect with people through the book and just people I've met from chatting about it has been like the coolest experience. So I would love to keep it going at some point.
Nice. Love to hear that.
Do you think even with your illustrations related to the tour, is this a new tradition, you know, drawing outfits for future concerts and whatnot?
It's gotta be now. I know. I don't think I could like go through it and like not draw them again. And I know every show right now I'm like waiting. The first few shows back were crazy. There was a new outfit like every day and I was drawing like nuts. So we'll see. But yeah, anytime one rolls out, which right now is usually the 1989 outfit is varying every day. So I get to create one. But yes, future tours, I'll definitely keep it going. It's been super fun.
Amazing. I'll keep a lookout for any art you create.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Staying on track of like Taylor tours, what do you think, and this is a super off topic question, but like, what are you anticipating the next tour is going to be like? Because we've kind of talked about on the pod, like our thoughts for the next Taylor tour, like what happens post eras. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
I know I've thought through this a little bit. And then when I try and think about it, then I like realize that the tour, this one's going to end. And I'm like, I can't think about it. So, but I know like, I don't know, but I just know like from what Taylor's done in the past, she always like surprises us and creates something amazing. And she never puts something out there that isn't spectacular and something that the fans are going to connect with. Right. So like from a show production standpoint, I have no clue. Like I can't imagine continuing to perform a 3.5 hour show forever. Like it's crazy what she's able to do. Mm-hmm. But I think if we've learned anything from her, like she puts the best stuff out there possible. And I'm just looking forward to seeing whatever that is.
We always do fetch or stretch on this pod. And I wanted to ask you a fetch or stretch question. I don't know if we've actually really covered this on the pod at all, but there has been a lot of talk of maybe like a making of the Eras Tour docu-series. Would you say that's fetch or stretch? Fetch as in yes, 100% it's going to happen, or stretch as in absolutely no way?
I think fetch. I think it could happen. So I know people have seen like cameras following at some point and other shows being filmed, though we haven't seen stuff come of it yet. So also for my own like personal hopes and dreams, like I hope we get it. It would be so fascinating to see the planning and everything that's gone into creating this tour. I just am so intrigued by everything. So I hope we get it, but I'll put it in the fetch category.
Okay.
We love that. We're here. That's fetch. We're here for it.
Perfect.
Back to your book, just so that our listeners can know, like, where can they buy the Lucky One? How can they access it?
Yes, so it is available on Amazon, and you can also link to it through the Swift Alert app because they are so kind. So there's a little icon right on the homepage of the Swift Alert app, which will take you to Amazon. I believe it takes you to the US Amazon page, and but it's also available on any other Amazon provider if you're in another country and want to order there. But if anyone is incapable of ordering for some reason on Amazon, reach out to me and I'll make sure that I can get them a copy somehow.
Oh, that's so sweet. We're definitely going to put it in today's show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in our description on YouTube, and we'll also add it to our link tree on social media so that it's accessible there.
Thank you. I so appreciate it. And I'm just glad I was able to get you all copies and glad to hear you like it. So it means a lot.
Thank you
Yes,
so
of
much for
course.
doing that. And we appreciate you being here and sharing your story with us. We love hearing these type of experiences and how other Swifties, made their way through the community and what experiences they have. So we loved having you here.
Thank you. And it was great meeting you three. Like I said, I loved getting to watch and listen. So super fun to get to be on. So thanks so much for reaching out.
That about wraps up this week's episode of the T Swift Sisters podcast with our special guest, Betsy Sedlak. If you want to purchase a copy of The Lucky One, written and illustrated by Betsy Sedlak, it's available on Amazon, and it's also linked in today's show notes. Remember to follow us on social media for more fun at T Swift Sisters Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and at T Swift Sisters on Twitter or X. Thanks for savoring this week's Swift Scoop. We hope you've had your fill of all things Taylor Swift, and we'll see you next week right here on the T Swift Sisters podcast. Bye.